All right, guys. Sorry to be so late here. I am having problems. Uh, where's Nora at? All right. Let me see what's going on here. Why am I having this issue tonight? Why is my OPS Ninja not showing up right? Nor, if you're watching, I don't know what's wrong here. Yep, Dave did really well with Nor. All I gotta do is figure out how to get him on here. Let's see here. Properties. There's my room. Hold on a minute, guys. Let me see. Oh, wait. Control room. Let's see. Well, let me see what's going on here. Okay, got him in the room. Now, let's see. Customize. I don't want to customize. Oh, there. Hold on a minute. Let's see. Use an OBS relations. I got it. I think I got it. Hold on. Do this and this and this. And that should get us Dave. Uh-oh. There he is. Hi, Dave. Can you hear me, Dave? Dave, oh, I see you. It looks like he's gonna rearrange his camera.
No.
There might be a slight time lag here. Let's see if I can figure out what's going on here. I see him in the room. All right, let me go back to the control room. How about now, Dave?
Hello.
Teach me to never do anything without Nor. Hey, Yusuf, how are you, buddy? Oh, Todd, from 30,000 feet. Why is it still showing that? On an airplane. What are you guys flying to? Hey, Brian. Yeah, I know, Marcel. Who would have thought? Hey, Greg, Ricky, Lawrence. You can hear Dave? Why can't I hear Dave? I can't see Dave. Hey, Ben, can you guys... Let me try this. Dave, do you hear me now? Why can you guys hear me, Dave, but I can't? It's got to be something here. Let me see here.
Let's see. It's blinking green.
You guys are going back home. Got it. Let's see. What are the enable directors right on video? I guess can see this feed. Let's do that. What am I doing wrong? Why can you guys hear Dave and I can't? Hey, Raven. Yep, I did make top 8. Actually finished 5th. Dave's coming in clear, but I can't hear him. Looks like my... Oh, wait a minute. Dave, can you hear me now? Dave's coming in loud and clear, but not for me. What is going on here? Oops, get rid of that. Go here. Does it look like YouTube's frozen for you guys? Let's see here. Wow, 17 people tune in to hear you, Dave, and they can hear you, but I can't. And Dave can't hear me. That is so weird. All right. Hold on just a minute here. Nor, there we go.
If you're watching,
Oh, here. How
don't.
did I manage that? Okay, close that. All right, not frozen. We're all good. Oh, I see Dave on my screen. You got to connect early to make things smooth. I know I got interrupted today, and it didn't work out as I had planned. I see Dave now. Let's see. I see him, but can't hear. No, that wouldn't be an overpowered adventure if I knew what I was doing, though, right?
Can't hear me.
I see Dave's lips moving.
Let's see. Let me try the cell phone.
No filters. What is going on here? And now, where'd Dave go? Properties, audio. Well, this ain't good. I guess I should have had Nor come over. This is the adventure, says Ricky. Yeah. Dave is still shuffling his 80 card deck, no doubt. We hear you both. All right. I wonder why we can't hear each other. Let me. I'm going to send a message to Nor real quick. See if I can get some help here. Let's see. All right. Let's see if Nor can figure something out from afar. Okay, it's got to be right here. Let me just see something. Oh, wait. Guest. Auto add. What if I customize? Oh, I bet that pre-audio mode. Pro audio. I don't know what that means. Okay. Going to try this again. All right, Dave, can you hear
Any
me
change? Any luck?
now? I don't understand this. All right, I got you on the screen. Now, why can't I hear you? Speakers. All right. Audio. It's got to have something to do with what I did out there. Oh, there we go. Audio. All right. Dave, can you hear me? Oh, wait a minute. That's the wrong one. We can hear Dave, but you can't. Yep, that's right. I can't hear him.
So,
I can't hear him or
I can't see or hear anyone,
me.
but I'm in the room.
All right. I got Nora on the line. On text messages, anyways. Let's see if he can help me. Controls. Let's see. Why can't I hear him? It's got to be something in that OBS Ninja software, but I don't see what it is. What's this? Dave, can you see the chat? Yeah, I know. Yeah, transcribe the questions for each of us, Doug. That's a great idea. I didn't set things up soon enough, that's for sure. IT adventure tonight. You got that right. How's the demo? Oh, how'd the demo go? Yeah, Doug, how did the demos go? Did you make a new room? I think, no, let's see. Okay.
Can anyone hear me this way? Doug? So where's my trophy? There it is.
Okay. All right, Nora's helping me here. Hold on a minute. Let me see. Highlight director, video guest, we'll see. You need to be in there to talk to each other. All right, we're getting there, guys. Give me just another minute. Nora's helping me out here. In a browser, so I need. Okay. Go here, and here. Drawing room.
Seems like no dice so far, but I'm excited.
Dave, can you hear me now? Start. Hi, Dave. Dave?
Ooh, I see you now.
I
I'm
hear
gonna
you.
see if I can switch over to my computer.
I hear you.
And maybe that'll be the final fix.
Can you hear
Hold on
me?
one sec. I can see you now. Let's see.
Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
All right, I got one more thing to try. Hold on.
We're gonna get there.
Let's see. Yeah, wait,
Sure
just
it's not
another
on my
minute.
end. Okay, good.
Can you hear me,
Hey, your
Dave?
tech support is working on it, but
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to spill the beans.
All right, guys, just another minute. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe. Hold on. Here, what is this? Nope, that ain't it.
I'm getting a message.
All right. Can you hear me now? Oh, why can't you hear me? My microphone's on. This will teach Nor to leave me alone, huh? Yeah, I don't know why I'm so small again. All right, I'm in the room. Video, audio.
Oh, I hear something.
Can you hear me, Dave?
I can.
Sorry, we did it.
You did it.
All right. Okay, so now I see you on my screen. Does everyone see Dave? I got it. All right. Whoops. I got to let Nor know I got it. All right.
Excellent.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
No worries.
All right. So we're probably about 15-second time delay. But
Okay.
why am I on there twice? Okay. All right. Well, I'm on the screen twice. We'll just go with that. Are you able to watch on YouTube also to see the questions in the chat?
And then they try. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
I'm subscribed, so this should be easy to get there.
Oh, this is crazy. I didn't think it'd be this difficult. All right. Nor was on his way, but I bumbled and stumbled through it. All right. Congratulations, Dave. That was a great tournament. Yeah, I know, Andy. Double dug. I haven't figured that part out yet. I'm going to have to go over this again with Nor on how to do this. I thought it was settled, but it wasn't quite. We see 2 Dougs and 1 Dave. Yep, Dave, you're outnumbered.
That's all right. I can see the chat now.
Okay, good. Well, congratulations. That was
Thank
a
you.
huge day. I think you went 5-2 in Swiss.
Yes.
That's
correct.
Who beat you?
You did.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot.
Yeah, and Nor. Those
And
are my only
Nor.
2 losses.
Team Ohio. All
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Okay. And then you came back and beat Nor and I both in single LM.
Barely.
Yeah. I think maybe if I'd have got one more hand, I might have been able to get back in that game. But both of those games against you were actually the 2 funnest games I played all day. So
I appreciate that compliment. I try to mix it up with what I'm doing, and this is the first time it's ever worked, I guess. Fully worked.
Yeah, fully worked. That was great. I hope you didn't mind me being a rules Nazi for fun against you.
No worries.
It all was just in fun. So let's see what the 1 Doug is a clone. Am I still seeing? You guys still seeing 2 of me? Oh, well.
In this, I see 1. Let's see.
I only see. I don't see a second one now. But
oh, there's a little tiny extra U in the YouTube.
I think I can get rid of that. Let me see. Click here. Nope, I can't. Oh well. Sorry, guys. You get to see 2 of me tonight. I think everybody had a really good time at this event. Robin did amazing. I was super happy with the venue and everything that he did. Giving away, I believe. Oh, here we go again. Sat here in the dark too long. Giving away 8 Sun Wukong play mats totally at random was really cool. The promo cards were amazing.
Yes.
You didn't leave yours laying on the table again, did you, Dave?
No, I haven't. And the foiling on that is amazing. Kudos to Felipe and the team. It's a really great card.
Yes. I have not heard of any of them selling yet. I don't believe a top 8 card is going to be available for sale. I don't know anyone finishing the top 8 that is willing to part with theirs. No. I will not.
Me neither.
Thanks, Nor. I bumbled and stumbled. I should have been getting ready a lot sooner, but I got distracted. Do you have it to show off? I do. I do. I think. Yes, I do. Hold on. But didn't anybody post it on Facebook yet? I did not take any pictures of it. It's here somewhere. Jessica didn't take it. You know how those kids can be. Well, oh, wait a minute. Huh. Nope, I don't have it to show off either, Pierre. I'm sorry, buddy.
I can try to find mine in a little bit.
All right.
It's somewhere here in the lab.
Joey, I'm sorry you couldn't make it. I hope you're recovering quite well. I would have loved to have taken a ride in the Mustang. North says, I'll be back for revenge, Dave. All right, so tell me a little bit about your deck. What did you expect from the deck, and then how did it fulfill that expectation?
So it's real interesting. I wasn't planning on playing the deck until 2 days before the event. I was wanting to save this for Ohio for the OP Cup. I didn't know the registration for this was going to be so high. I didn't know that you all were going to make it. Canada was going to make it. Brazil was going to make it. So once the numbers started shooting up from 15, 20, 25, I said, okay, I can't. I wanted to run my Moriarty deck, a new version of it. I'll probably keep what it is to myself because I might do that at the shootout.
Okay.
But the idea was, I think the problem for Zeus is that he can't defend himself, right?
Right.
And there's ways to do that. I have a modern version too that I think is pretty good and would do some work in the meta. But for Legacy, I came to obviously Deathbird, I think is fantastic in reserve.
Yep.
But it's a matter of the grid compatibility. And then the other thought I was toying with was I think you need to back up Zeus's Thunderbolts with someone else. And obviously Jammers and Legacy is the obvious choice because they're busted. I mean, extra placing slot, 3 OPDs, Professor X. I even run the 2-8 blue in there just because it's a card people do take, but I think in my mind strategically they shouldn't because the Thunderbolts, the whole deck is cumulative. I'm really not trying to spectrum too much.
Yeah.
And I think Watson in the front, as a general design concept, I think a lot of people in both Legacy and Modern are trying to shave their points on the reserve character. But I think there's a lot of interesting things you can do if you shave your points on the front. Old school, go like an X-Babies or a Watson or someone who's really just that 15, 16, 17 in the front. Spend your points elsewhere. I love Victory in reserve. I love that you used her. I'm definitely going to make my way to that. I think Victory with double shots is going to be crazy in Legacy. But so that's what I came to, was just how do I keep him alive? Another advantage of that build was that everybody has an inherent. So I'm running the remove one hit from everyone with an inherent event. So as I'm brawling, that's kind of the extra life in some matches. Some matches, you cut to it and it's battle one, you get nothing. Right. Other times it comes just in the nick of time. Zeus is beat up. Everybody's beat up. And then I take all those icons away and then they're all refreshed, but the Thunderbolts are still cranking. So it's a fun little puzzle. I think it's probably, I don't know if anybody's ever won with no negator and no 9 or less, 6 or less team defense. But
yeah.
Literally, it's just Deathbird, power cards, and Watson shifting. So that was kind of the premise. And obviously, Danger Room is not Danger Room. Outback's Outback. So
right.
That's the premise. And I tested it a good deal with Joe and my people over here, the twins, the Costa twins. But I really hadn't touched it for 3 weeks. I was working on the Moriarty deck, trying to get it tip-top shape to could I win a 15 to 20 man. But once I heard you were coming and Nora's coming and all the pros are coming and it's going to be a big field, I said, okay, I gotta get it ready. So I do want to thank a lot of people. I want to thank real quick.
Go ahead.
I want to thank Zach and Raz online for giving me some games that Thursday and Friday because I hadn't touched it and I was begging for games. I gotta get it warm with it. So thanks to them. Obviously, just in terms of my development as a player, I gotta thank Phil. I mean, rest in peace. But Phil and I played thousands of games online with the old client, and it would crash, and then we call each other and we debate who would have won if it hadn't crashed because we misplayed activator or double shot or something. So I was pretty terrible when I first joined 2012, 2013. I think maybe 2 years later I was good, but not, credible. And then I had a good run of appearances, but Phil really shaped me to be a better player.
Sure.
Obviously, the community in general is the best community in CCGs, I think.
No
And
doubt.
so a lot of creative decks. I think Zach just posted a link to all the decks. And I was looking at, like, John Lewis played Abomination and Hercules in top 8, and I'm like, yes.
Oh,
So
wow.
lots of creative ideas. I'm still poring over what else is there to get more inspiration for the next puzzles. But I think you'll definitely see Zeus again at Ohio. I'm going to try to tweak it, min
Okay.
max it a little more, probably ruin it. Probably that was the best version or the luckiest version. But yeah, I mean, I think the best part of that deck is if I can make it to Power Pack with Zeus alive, I think I win.
Yeah.
And if I can just carry 1/9 somehow to the Power Pack, then I can shove and it's a win, right?
Right.
But the challenge is he dies. So the whole point is Watson has to die first.
Right.
And then hopefully Jammers backs up just enough. And I had a few games where just Jammers and Deathbird still got it done against, I think, maybe Derek. Derek played a great deck with Bullseye. And I forget who else I beat. Oh, Nick Spivak was running the Cadillac and almost beat me. But I was able to, I think, Jammers Deathbird for the win. So some really interesting matchups that happened. My matchup with you was a whirlwind of like triumph and defeat till the final defeat. And then I think our match in the playoffs was the same.
Yeah. I was a little disappointed we had to play each other back to back.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, right? It's a tournament, and you take the drawings as you get them. And we still went pretty deep. I think we were maybe 1 hand away, 2 hands away from getting to the Power Pack. So
Oh, yeah.
pretty deep.
Yeah, your next hand was the event. That would have busted it for me.
Yeah. I was so disappointed when I drew those 8 cards and the KO event was not there. It's like there's only 14 cards left in my deck. And I
what are
thought
the odds?
I thought sure the KO was coming. And then you ventured 4 for the win. If you'd have gone 3, I had a chance. But you went for it, and it was a no-brainer. I couldn't even come close.
I don't think we were on TV for that match, but for anybody who's wondering, knowing the KO was coming, I placed a 7/2 ally to Deathbird and a 1 intelligence.
Yeah.
Which I'm starting to do that in Legacy as well. I mean, in Modern, where if I have an advantage but I don't want to bet more, I'll just try to stash something tiny in the reserve heroes. When they come up, they can fuel the teamworks and they can do things. So the minute we got to that hand, and I thought, oh, the KO event's going to come and erase that advantage, that little nest egg I built, and it didn't. So the shoving 4 wasn't because I thought I could do it. It was just the Hail Mary, right? Like I got to do it then or now.
Yeah.
Now or never.
Right. And I'm drawing 2 cards, hoping and praying one is not the KO event, and it wasn't. But it was a great game. Both of our matches were so fun and so extreme. And I think that's the way the whole event was. I didn't hear too many people complain about anybody too much. There's always the slow play floating around. Someone's so-and-so slow playing. That's hard to manage. But outside of that, I think everybody had a really good time. We wrapped up at a decent time.
We did.
They had a little bit of trouble with the software for the second event. The last
for the pairings.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but I'm sure it was just a very minor glitch, and it's not something that's going to come up in the future.
I think Robin did a great job keeping the trains running on time. I felt like we had time for our lunch and our dinner. I think we also got the matches over with and adjudicated. The top deck pairings got spat out to our phones accurately and quickly. So kudos to everybody, and great job with the community.
I'm really liking the Top Deck app. It's a shame that we didn't use it before. And shout out to Howard for finding it. So
yes.
It's great. Hey, Doug's asking in the chat, how many Thunderbolts did you run?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. six, seven Thunderbolts. Seven Thunderbolts. It wasn't like overly tested. I forget what. So to be clear, my deck is 75 cards.
Yeah.
And I'll repost my little article I wrote. A lot of my repetitive deck mechanic decks float around the low 70s, high 60s for modern. And so me running 7 is a function of that's an idea of like one Thunderbolt per 10 cards, trying to have it to where I can always either, if I don't draw 2 Thunderbolts, I will hopefully draw 1, place it, run, and get the second, and then fight that battle, and then reload. And then I'm really willing to just win, lose, win, lose, win, lose till I get to power pack. And I didn't win all my games that way, but certainly against the top opponents that were in the top 8, particularly you and Noor, that's how I had to win, was just try to like go 500 and see if I can drag it out and have Zeus, stand at the end. And I had a game against I want to say CEO maybe like 4 weeks ago where I won, and it was Zeus versus his entire team. But it got the power. I got the power pack, and he has the whole power pack, and he has 9s, and I wasn't in power pack. Joe was, but he had killed Watson and Jammers and Deathbird, and it was just Zeus, and it wasn't a lockout trick either. He got into power pack. I exhausted him. He had power cards, and I had power cards and 9s, and that was about all it took.
Yeah, and the power pack 9s are huge. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Anyone in the chat have another question for him? There's nothing there right now, but let's see. I did put up a video that we made last Tuesday, Corey, Noor, and I, about the decks that we were going to play and what we were expecting out of them, and Jessica, what she would play if she was able to attend. And you can go, guys can go there, watch that, and see what we were thinking. We're going to do another video about how the decks performed. Did they do what we had hoped they do? We'll put that up maybe later this week. Goof wants to know, what ERB character do you think will be the next to make it to an NAOL championship?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
For NAOL, there's so many good ones. I mean, I think if you look at the deck list or not deck list, but the character list that got posted, there's a lot of interesting synergies there people are trying to take advantage of. And obviously, I quite easily could have lost like any one of my 3 matches. And Van Helsing was in the final. Obviously, Zoro was in Noor's deck. Your deck had Victory. I think Victory is probably the one that I would really go for. Not just because you're playing it, Doug, and I'm trying to, kiss butt a little bit. But no, I legitimately think she should be seeing more play in Legacy and Modern, because defensive card gain is like, a life hack. It's like unbeatable, really. Now, obviously, you got to run into intellect icons, but people play multis pretty religiously.
Yep.
And I think as like a secondary type, intellect's popular. It might not be popular yet as a main type. Obviously, Robot and Skybound and some of the other intelligent Cecil are going to, add more diversity and firepower to the blue suit. But I think Victory in Reserve is amazing. Just drawing that, because if you pair with trainings, when you draw that 4 and you get your power pack lined up, those 4s are 8s defensively. And you can use a double shot in Legacy. And even if you're just drawing it to fuel your teamworks. So if your teamworks are in the other 3 suits, you draw the intellect. Oh, now I can fuel another teamwork. And we know teamworks in Legacy with the level 6 or so. I'd say Victory, and that's some butt kissing, but I'm not above that.
And the void and draw the power card may even power her discard 4.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
when I play her in my decks, I try to place a level 1 or 2 intellect to her whenever I can in a battle where I think I have the advantage and it comes up. I'll just place that, and then once you place that, then the secondary cost is paid and the void and draw triggers it. So it goes off a lot in the keeping dupes. I mean, it's just, it's so good. So even her 7, it's a yellow 7 in an int deck is great. And you have to pay the cost, but if I put that 1 there, putting the 7 with the 1 is great. And it's one of those things also you can throw at the end of a battle. She's in the back. No one can touch her. You're sitting on that 7, and they're thinking, do you have it? Or maybe you don't even have it, but you avoid and draw to
Yeah.
fuel it, and it's a
Right.
yellow 7. So I think victory. If I wasn't going to say victory, I really do think Hercules in Modern and Legacy is due. And I know people aren't using the strength meta right now. And I've talked about my deck online that I'm running. I can't run it because I'm an employee. So
Right.
no, but I'm trying to get someone else to run it. Whoever wants to run it, send me a message. I'll send you the deck list. But I think there's still a space in Modern for team working. That's what my deck does. I think he is the modern spawn,
Yeah.
if you will, a little more expensive, maybe properly priced. But if not victory, I'd say Herc.
AJ played Hercules with Spawn, the X Babies, and Silver Sable in reserve, I believe it was. And he struggled. I think he went 3-4 or 3-3, but I think he dropped the last round. I was really disappointed that his deck didn't perform better. Looking at it, it had everything. So I'm not sure
Right.
what went wrong there.
Sometimes just variance.
Yeah.
There's tournaments you can't avoid. If you dupe a certain way.
Right.
I know Greg Costa 2 games in a row, first hand at 3/8, and he's not
Oh,
running a Dave special.
holy
It
cow.
wasn't.
What the
I think the
heck?
second time he ran and showed it to Corey because the first time was against Corey. So when you have certain levels of variance, there's nothing you can do. Now
That's
maybe
tough.
very tough, but
Hey, Michael, how are you? Michael, Patty Crypto, Vlad just showed up in the chat.
what's going on, Vlad?
Howard's got a question for you. How often did you use Zeus's universal alignment in the event?
I'd say maybe a third of the times. I
Really?
feel like it's a really good hedge against my own stupidity. And what I mean by that is I was saying to other people when I was talking about it, the deck was like a cursed item. Like it gave me all this good juice and aggression, but it made me play sometimes too aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
So against I want to say against Derek, I bet 4 the first hand and lost.
Oh,
And then I
no.
was at 0-3-4, and then I took the next one. So then I was at 0-2-5, and I dug out of 0-2-5.
Wow.
And if no one watched the stream, you got to go back and watch the stream, whether it's raw or when the commentary hits. In the final, I bet 4 against Lawrence, and we tied. We tied twice in that game. It's crazy. Like we tied in that one, and we tied in the penultimate one by Venture. So I bet 4, and he was able to KL 1 Thunderbolt and the Jubilee 7 to get the tie. And then the next hand, I had a terrible hand for my standards of that deck. And so I had to bet 1 and run. I ran before the battle, lost 5, and I went from way ahead to way down. So I
Wow.
think most of the other times, though, the deck was really just bullying. I just bet 2 and win and bet 1 and run, and I never felt the need to reset. And I would fold it away most games. But the 3 where I did, and I think also the semifinal against Nor, I played it against him, and I think he should have negated it. We talked about it afterwards. I'm not saying it would have been the changer for that matchup, but he was ahead significantly. I think he was at maybe 5-2-0 at that point and was losing that 2. And then it was his game point, and I played the reset, and I was showing maybe 1 or 2 Thunderbolts, and he had the negate placed. And maybe he was going to power pack, but I think he should have negated the reset so that I didn't buy me room. I think he still could have beat me from 5-0-2, and I might have been at like 2-4-1. If he kept that score, even though I was making the comeback, he could have bought himself a little room to maybe let me throw Thunderbolts out of desperation and exhaust my thing. So it's a really good card. But I also think in this version of Zeus, I was really just trying to bully and run and just do this loop until I got the power pack.
Lawrence says too many ties.
And that was crazy. So for Lawrence and I, there was that tie, and then our other tie was Lawrence's game point. I threw a double shot to tie it just barely at maybe 28-28 venture or some silly number. I had to count it 3 times.
Yeah, 28. I couldn't believe it. I was watching it with Steve. We were watching it on my iPad. And I said, I think they're going to tie the venture. And he said, what? I said, I think it's 28-28. And
Yeah.
Sure enough, you did it. Did anyone hit you with the absorbed sound? Andy's asking.
I just never got into that matchup. I know, so I didn't run into anyone to my knowledge that was playing Absorb Sound. But if you haven't looked at my deck list, the Absorb Sound actually doesn't hit me too hard. I'm only running. That sounds crazy, but I'm running the 7 Thunderbolts. I was running 2 8 energies and 1 8 any just to avoid Absorb Sound and
Mhm.
avoid no energy icons because it's a cumulative deck. Everything else is fighting and intellect. It was 6s and 7s fighting. 5 or less was all intellect, no multis.
And
So it looks like an energy deck and presents that way. And I think that was also a slight trickiness. The people with the no energy power card events or the no energy icon events got real excited when they got their event. And sometimes either would bet 2 and stick. But the rest of my deck's live. Nothing else is dead, but maybe the Thunderbolts, which is a lot of venture. So it's still
sure.
good. But that was a little not intentional, but a little deceptiveness. It looks like energy, but really it's fighting intellect.
And when you were playing Nor, both times his no activator event came up. One time you had no activators in your hand, and the other time you had one.
Yeah.
So
I
that
mean,
was
that's
huge.
luck. That's pure
Yeah,
luck.
that was huge.
Yeah, fair. Sometimes I think you do have to be lucky to win these things.
Oh, definitely.
And I said a prayer. I definitely said. I don't mean that jokingly. I mean I said a real prayer, like, "Hey, man upstairs, let me get one, please." you know. So I think.
Uh, Lawrence says he thinks what's great about your deck is it forces you to bet more aggressively than you want to and stay in on hands you don't want to stay, or you get buried by the extra card advantage. That was huge. Yeah, I do 2 cards in our second game. The first hand got to redraw for one. The second hand, I do 2 again. And at that point, you had card advantage from the rest of the way. I couldn't make it up. So
Yeah,
that,
unfortunately, jammers is just still jammers. That extra
yeah,
placement slot, and the other trick I was doing, I was running the double shot, just that one.
right.
The idea for that came with my tinkering of double shots with victory. Um, but that one double shot for Zeus, the combined is 6 combat, so the rest of the teammates can all do it. And Jammers has that second placement slot, so I could sneak in a 1 or 2. That's how I tied with Lawrence. I had the 2 intellect sitting there with the double shot for that
Right.
6.
Yep.
And why am I ranting about it? That extra slot for tactics. It's just another way I carried. It's a little bit, yeah, and it's only going to be one action. You got to combine, but the break in case of emergency defense to seal some, or that emergency end of game offense. I definitely think everybody should consider one double shot.
Well, I'm sure we're going to start seeing a little bit of it. It'll be interesting to see. I know Tyler was messing with double shots even last year, but I think it does kind of help a little, and it's overlooked. That's for sure.
Yeah, if it wasn't a separate slot, I wouldn't say so because it's complicated and not that great. But because you get the extra slot, so between that, the Deathbird 8, and the Jammer's extra power card, there were times where I could get the board to about 14 cards. And if I've got 14 cards and you're at like 9 or 10, then I can kind of just toy with like, okay, I'll bet 1 or 2 and fight, knowing that I'm going to only play from hand. So I definitely love Deathbird, and I also love Wasp. A lot of credit to, I want to say, Justin and some others kind of discovered Wasp and also Deathbird as really viable. I think even Deathbird without the 8 acting as a power card in the new rules still should have seen play back in the day. She's 16 points. I mean, you can't get better for the value.
Yeah, and it works sure so good on a deck like yours where your 8 stat can't play 7s.
Right.
Deck, so your offsuit 7s. So you almost always had 2 defensive cards placed in the reserve. That's
Yeah.
usually a 6 and an 8. So uh, Doug Taylor says that Tyler was playing them 2 years ago. The double.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. It could lead to more showing up in the legacy format. But you told me during the game you guys don't plan to ever do them in the modern.
Not in the way that they were. It's so complicated. You have the 2 icons, but then the combined is a card that's not icon there, right? So it's like you have the one I'm running was energy to use, teammate with combat has to use intelligence. And that's just like, for a new player, it's like, what is happening with this card? So if
Yeah.
we do something with it, like with tactics again, or whatever we call it, I think it would have to be something more simple. Maybe it's that you need this grid and a teammate with that grid, and this card is just a number. There's no contribution part and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I think we got a lot of runway. They're definitely not in these first three. So, spoiler alert, unless something changes, nothing for the printer yet. There's no intent for double shots or some replacement double teams, whatever we call them. I don't see that happening in Skybound, Top Cow, or the third that I believe is announced. Sometimes I forget what Joe's announced or not.
Well, Joe has mentioned it a few times, but it's not official.
Yeah.
Last I heard, the contract has not been signed. So we have ERB, World Legends, Skybound, and then Top Cow. And we'll just leave it right there. We don't want to make Joe mad at us. We don't want to leak anything that Joe doesn't leak first.
Yeah.
That'll make him upset. He wants to leak everything.
Yes. He's our Spider-Man. He's our person who leaks on interviews. One thing I do want to mention that the other great thing about Deathbird in Reserve, you're getting defense out of your power cards without adding another triplicate. So part of the issue I found with Zeus was you're running so many Thunderbolts. How do you put a team around it and you don't bloat your deck to 80 cards, 90 cards, right? And then the math won't work. Well, Deathbird lets you place your power cards for the team there. And so I'm getting that 6 or less defense, but it's just the power card. So that allowed me to I had to thin that. Some people noticed I wasn't playing a Wolverine activator. I think in retrospect, maybe I should have played Wolverine instead of Dazzler. But I don't think I'd run more than 5 triplicate activators for it because, again, I'm already so close to it's ridiculously 75 is a lot. I know I'm weird for anybody in the audience. I know I'm not normal, but there is that threshold. It's usually about 74 to 75 you can get away with. And right around 76, the deck collapses like a black hole. So I had to figure out how to cut, and Deathbird definitely helped with how to cut.
Yeah, I know. I found myself forgetting to count those 2 cards in reserve a lot of the times. And when I was seeing how many you got, then I said, wait a minute, he can still play them for defense. He just can't attack with them. So it's they're still playable cards, and you got to take them into effect.
Yeah.
All right, Joey, you bringing it up. So,
yeah, let's chat it.
Okay. Joey wants to know, does Fairy Protection stop Anubis's card second attack?
It doesn't stop the second attack, at least not now. And here's why. If you look at the complex procedures and the order of operations, anytime you have these logical loops where we can have the debate, right? This card says I get to do this. Your card says I can't. Which one wins the day? So in this case, what you have is you play a card. It doesn't get negated. The text of the card says this is an attack. The conditional effect is if they respond to this a certain way, I'm entitled to an attack. And the target is prescribed on the card. It's not choice. The target is it has to be against the same. Then you lock out against that attack. That's a valid defense, right? The question is what happens to that conditional effect? The conditional effect before the lockout was played said you are entitled to the attack, and the target was chosen before as well, the same person. So, I totally get logical minds can disagree. This is like an overpower CCG problem. But the point of you go to page, I think it's 46 of the order of operations. No, so okay, I'm seeing the chat now. So 3 quick strokes can be locked out because the choices of making the additional are, you still get to make those, right? What's interesting though about 3 quick strokes, I think people don't understand how strong that is. If you throw 3 quick strokes at someone and they already have 15 damage and it's not negated, they're auto dead. You don't have to do anything because the conditional effect is similar. The 2 additional attacks are not conditional. The condition is that if the opponent has 15 or more at the end of this, they die. So the part that you can't lock out with with Zoro is not the 2 additional. That's not the conditional. The conditional is if at the end of this they have 15 or more, they're dead. So let me give you a hypothetical, and this is a hypothetical I was talking about with the twins. You know, in MOE, there's the Magneto avoid that says avoid one multi. He can't be spectrum by multis, right?
Right.
What if you had a card that was conditional effect KOing you with a multi that was played before that? Or to make it more on the spot here, let's say I've run 3 quick strokes. And let's just say in Skybound, we get, and no, not Skybound, there might be one actually in Top Gal. You avoid whatever it is, and it modifies your cumulative KO, right? So I play my 3 quick strokes. It says I'm going to do this string. If at the end you're 15 or more, you're dead. You could have an avoid that says avoid, I can't be cumulative KO'd. So we get to that logical loop, right? Which one do you get? 3 quick strokes says you're KO by 15. Someone could defensively say avoid an attack and they can't be cumulative KO'd. So which one do you get? And the procedure says you go by card class. Are they the same class? If they're different classes, the higher class wins. If they're the same class, do they call each other's class out? No. And if they don't call each other's class out or text, then which one came first? And it would be the 3 quick strokes. So I don't want to say which character it is. I forget who it is. I believe there's a character who can defensively change their cumulative. If you threw 3 quick strokes at that person as a part of their string, they defensively try to change their cumulative. The conditional effect of Zoro's of the 15 would still take effect. It was played first.
Hey, Game Master. How are you? Um, wow, I don't even know how to pronounce that.
What is what?
But that is kind of apples to oranges. Dark Clown says boo. New player growth is so important. Making something more complicated is a mistake. I see the logic but disagree with the call. Game Master says interesting. Who else did I miss? I think that's, yeah, Joey. Yeah, you just had to, didn't you? I knew it would come up sometime during this phone call.
No, it's good that it came up. And let me also say, as like a adjudicating, like as a judge principle, I didn't come to that question when it got brought up. I've never thought of the interaction. So I don't come to these with an answer in my head. In fact, I'd say there's so many times where like people will message me questions about things they want to try. I get lots of questions from John and Phil Keffer, and they'll just slide into my DMs like, "Hey, Dave, I'm trying to do this. How does this work?" And most of the time, it takes me a week or two to get them an answer because usually it's something like this that is not something that's come up, and I really need to take time away from job and family to sit down with the 2 cards, sit down with the rule book, and say, "How would this process?" Right? And I try to, as best to my ability, stick to what is on the cards and in the rule book rather than my opinion. So, for instance, when someone made us notice that we weren't playing Grim Reaper correctly the way it's written, we said, "Wait a minute, no, that's how it is." But they said, "No, it's if successful, you make the choice." And then we look at the card and we look at the rule book, and it's like, "Yeah, you're right. Actually, we've been playing it wrong." And then we went to what it should have been. I'm not sure if we've had this ruling in a tournament yet, and I doubt you will because that's such a niche, 1 in a million scenario, right? That you have to be playing Anubis versus someone using fairy protection, and you got to do the lockout against that, right? So, so I don't think anybody's been like wrong, been a high stakes moment to my knowledge yet.
Yeah.
But like any league, you're gonna ask the officials and try to get the best ruling beforehand, hopefully before any game gets played. That would be the current ruling. And I understand if some folks disagree, and we always can change rules, and we're okay with that. But I want us to stay in the business of changing rules because there's a problem with the environment, not because certain players want to see things be adjudicated a certain way. I think that's one thing I didn't love about the Legion was, I think certain players would show up with a surprise combo that really should work the way it's written. And then someone says, well, that's too strong, or that's not what they meant. And I think when you get into the realm of judging intent, it's like a challenge. We know when we wrote Grim Reaper, we intended it to work the way that Power Leech did, but the words didn't match the intent. So you play it how it's written, unless it's going to break everything. I'd like to get everybody's opinion. Do you think playing Grim Reaper where you delay the icon, is that stronger or weaker? Because I can't wrap my head around which one. Is it better or worse?
Well, the player that you're playing against then determines how many cards they're going to discard if you call it up front. And
Right.
um, they're more than like if you call energy and they have a level 1 energy power card in their hand and that's it, they're going to take it and discard a 1. But if they have to decide before they know what the icon is, they can't. They're not going to
Stronger.
take a chance that you're going to get 3 or 4 cards. So I think it's. I like the way it's played now. You, if it hits, then you call the icons.
Right.
But
Yeah. So I think I agree with
it's
that. Then
still
strong. It seems stronger.
ban the Reaper, but
I think
um,
you guys are gonna see the battleground for Skybound, and it's so much more defensive that
um,
I think everybody's gonna adopt that
yeah.
unless you have a defensive team, and I think or unless you just want Reaper, and I think that the new battleground does not have Reaper, and it does not have Hades. Hades is one reason why we have games go so long in Modern is because everyone's resetting at least one game, and if two people both successfully reset, you just added the equivalent of 2 battles. So I think we're going to find out shortly, come August, whether people really don't like Reaper or they don't like getting hit by Reaper. That's the big question. Is it just that you like when yours hits and you don't like it when you get hit, or do you really hate the mechanic? Because if people hate the mechanic, everyone's just going to flock to Skybound, and it won't be an issue because there's also so many defenses for it and
Um,
so many better mechanics in there.
well, I hate the mechanic. I'll have to wait and see what those other cards look like. But
Many, many,
I
many,
don't.
many Reaper defenses.
I don't like playing a Reaper against a new player. That's what I
Oh,
hate.
that part totally. I think for new players, I'm a big fan of draft and constructed with starter decks and then easing them into the environment. I think for me, no matter what you do in a CCG, there will always be a big bad. So it's bad to have a big bad associated with any heroes because then it's going to be in every deck. But whether it's weighing the heart / penance stare / Raza, whether it's discard 3s or draw 3s, CCGs are always about you're trying to get to your blue-eyed white dragon, whatever it was in Yu-Gi-Oh, or you're trying to get to your Vegeta Super Saiyan Blue, or whatever the boss is your deck is. You want to get to that boss, and it's rarely a feel good. But at the same time, new players, you got to get them to enjoy the mechanics of the game and the community. And Reaper is a problem for that. I hear you, and but I think people are going to see the Skybound Battleground is so much stuff, so many better options. That I mean, unless you have a really defensive deck and Reaper, and even then, because people are going to have those defenses, Reaper's not going to hit as often. So I think you're going to see, X amount of loyalists, maybe a quarter, are going to stay. It's kind of what it is with any heroes now, right? And Legacy,
Yeah.
we didn't make any heroes bad, nor just use any heroes. Was great. We saw a couple Cadillacs, 2 Cadillacs made the top 8. We also saw my idiocy make the top 8 and win, right? You were using Victory and Professor. So we want an environment where everybody can play and have fun and use different things, but we also don't yuck anybody's yum. And if your yum is whatever it is, hopefully Overpower has it. And we'll keep. Look, I've ran through the battle mechanic and the complex interaction guide for how I thought I would rule on the Anubis fairy interaction. And again, we can always change it, or if someone can come up with the logical reason it doesn't work the way it's written. But I'm just going by purely we created that order of operations in the complex project section for this reason. Whatever Overpower has that kind of conflict of I can and your card says you can't, and you say, well, which one wins? It's the one that went first, is what we debated 2.5 years ago for a number of game construction and app coding reasons. My goal is always going to be to have this be an app in the next 5 years. I think that would be so much fun. I think the kind of coding it would take for an app to be made, if it isn't turn-based, and we get really deep into logical loops, would be millions and millions of dollars. Something that we'd have to be Magic the Gathering or one of the big 3.
That's a
Whereas
lot.
I think where I want us to be is lean and mean and a coding or a system where we can get. I've got some fraternity brothers and other folks who are app coders, where maybe you can spend tens of thousands to maybe hundreds of thousands, and the logic's tight enough where you can code it. So
Dave, did you play Overpower back when IQ came out? Was you playing then?
I wasn't playing competitively. I was playing, and I would go to the local store. But like I was terrible. Let's be
Oh,
honest. I was no Phil Miller or Phil Keffer or
sure.
Marcel the Goat or any of those people. I was just a
But you
kid
still,
in my teens.
but you still had to know the feeling of when you first got the Power League played against you,
Oh,
right?
oh yeah, and there was opponent then, which is just
Right.
silly, right?
Yeah.
And those were really rare and expensive. I think my friends and I might have had 1 to 2 leeches amongst the 5 of us who were playing. And then we had people in the store we'd play against, and if they got leech and you don't, you know,
Right.
bye bye, end of
Um,
story.
but everybody knew back then that it was a bad idea, and then they had to create a negate that you could place, but it could only negate an any character. Oh, gee, I wonder what any character you were wanting to negate.
Right.
I'm just kind of surprised that you guys ever decided to reprint that card, and that's my
So,
point.
so I think it was path dependent development, meaning we made the essentials pack. Um, with an eye towards opening up the environment with the cataclysms and getting rid of Dow to fix that in legacy, knowing that legacy would be the way to we got to modern, right? We kind of knew we were kind of incubating a modern environment. We were going to have to do a Kickstarter. We are going to have to raise capital, and we were going to have to negotiate and get licenses, right? And like any business, it's like it's a slog, right? It's going to be. It was a 4-year window, really, from us getting from the trademark idea that I had in 2020, late 2019. Shout out to Leonard French. I'm sure there's no way Leonard French would ever watch this, but he's an IP lawyer who helps nerds navigate IP issues, and he's who I got a free consult from. Who at some point thought to be a history of overpower thing that and talks about all the old stuff too, but how this all happened. But my point is, we reprinted that because we needed to get the community reinterested. We needed to make product to keep to get the trademark. There's IP law reasons we had to do something, and it wasn't going to be the Kickstarter off top, so it was the Essentials pack. Then the second problem is, okay, you have the Essentials pack with our logo and all our stuff. Do we do a Kickstarter and say, well, those cards aren't legal? And then that creates confusion for the consumer because you bought from the Kickstarter and all those things. So, I think this is when you see where we get to in the next 2 years in terms of the development, again, really like when you get that Skybound battleground, you're not going to run to use the old one unless there's a reason, right? Because you're getting so many of the same things, but better. And then additional things like, for instance, spoiler, there's a KL in there. You can choose to play a KL. There's multiple ways to stop Reaper. The Reaper replacement is a not cataclysm, like mini boss is what we're calling internally. I'm probably spoiling too much. Where's Joe? Joe, come stop me. But you get a Stars and Garters. You get a Mintep. You just get so much there. You get different numbers, side effects. So I don't think anybody's going to look at that and be like, oh, I have to. At that point, it's going to be a choice. And then once it's a choice, it's like capitalism or all things competition. You're going to decide if you like Burger King or Wendy's or McDonald's. And, if there's choices and you make a choice, we all have to live with that. But right now, I think the environment, if you look at the deck lists for Onslaught at the Edge, it's so amazing and so bananas where we've gotten to. I don't even want to talk about this because I might play it in Texas. But
Greg's saying you're revealing all the secrets, Dave.
That wasn't all of them. Hey, and Greg should stop me. Okay, I'll stop. But I'll tell you my secret. This is a personal secret. I'm working on a deck with Cthulhu. I don't know if it's going to be in the front or the back. Right now, he's in the back. Robin from DC, Blue Beetle from DC, and the current version is Thing on the Front Line. And it just hits like a Mack truck. And if you could tell me 2 years ago that I could play a public domain character Cthulhu with a Marvel character and Thing, who doesn't see necessarily a lot of play besides in reserve with the 10, and then Robin Blue Beetle and be competitive. So I'm working on that. I think the environment's so wide open now, and I hope people know that. I know modern, the meta's settled on Woo Witch, Zorro, Leo, and some stuff with a little bit of Sherlock and some things. But like, man, if I could just play this Hercules deck against you guys, oof. I really think I could win the 10,000, but you can't win your own money, can you?
Michael was saying In-N-Out burger all day. Joey says
Ooh.
BK all the way. So,
I'm Wendy's when I'm feeling froggy because I like their new the frosties with the different mixers, or like it reminds me of
yeah,
when.
we stopped at Wendy's on the way home, and those looked amazing.
Oh, they're so good. I mean, terrible for your mind, body, soul. I don't know. It's not good, but it's good. It's very good.
Uh,
It reminds me of when McFlurries used to be really good.
uh,
Now McFlurries, eh.
All right, the goof says the meta is arbitrarily narrow right now. There's tons of other options out there in both NAOL and modern. And Game Master says, speaking of which, does that mean that having harness the wind and clay means
In
special
play.
in play special can't be shifted, can be shifted? Yes, it's already in play.
Yeah, that's what I would say. Yeah.
Andy, I am a BK guy, and it has nothing to do with Burger King, Arthur. It's in spite of Burger King, Arthur.
Right. Now, interestingly enough, along the lines of the order of operations, and this would be in Legacy, let's say you had Colossus and he has his strength attacks can't be shifted. And then you had Harnessing Winds. Colossus is inherent, but overrule Harness the Winds because it's a higher class of effect. So I think the idea is when two classes conflict and we can have that loop of which one is supposed to win, currently is the one that's in play first. And I think there has to be a choice made one way or the other, whether it's the one second or first. We came to the first because you should be rewarded for the fact that you took a turn to put it in play first. I think, again, there's no right or wrong way that we could have written it in my mind. But I'm more of the party of like, we should live with what we've written so far. And if something is broken, we'll fix it. I don't think the Anubis thing is broken. And what I mean by that is lockouts are lockouts are lockouts. They're very good. If you play the Anubis card, you most of the time don't want to defend it. You want to either negate it or let it hit, right? The only way that you're blocking it is because it's for the KO. And in my opinion, that means the opponent earns the ability, meaning they set you up with multiple icons. Here comes the 5. You don't have a negate. You have to defend it. When you don't negate it, they got entitled to that if-then statement, that if this is done, this is where it goes, and this is the target. And then the later part, it still locks out the first part, but not the second. And I hear if anybody thinks that's counterintuitive, I'm not, my biggest goal for us is to stick to what's on the books and to be as consistent as possible. And then if it breaks something, it'll break it. I haven't seen, has Anubis won yet? And then I think Anubis has made a top 8 probably, but.
No, I don't. Hey, Goof, what's the best Anubis has ever done? I don't think he's done anything, actually. And I'm using the Goof as my Google on this because he's tracked so much.
Yeah.
John, thanks for streaming, buddy. Enjoy your dinner. We'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you.
The Game Master says, I didn't understand the answer. Which will be allowed to shift it?
Yes. The answer right now would be, and again, don't hold me to it because I need to look at the 2 cards and everything and with the book and double check. But again, just from my recollection of how it's written and the 2 cards, and if you play the which one first, then you would be able to shift it. If you wanted to try to play Harness in response to that, no.
Right.
Because the first one came. And that's the logic we're going with. That's what's on the books. I'm not saying it's perfect. Just trying to say I want it to be consistent. So it'll be if I throw a card that can't be shifted, can you respond to that with Harness? No. Because the card that says it can't be shifted came first. If Harness is in play, and then I play, well, you can't shift this. Again, it gets to the logical loop. No one's wrong. It's a human logic thing of just, well, mine says I can. Well, mine says you can't. Well, which one wins? And we have a method for determining the winner. And that's what we're going to stick with for now.
Okay. Goof says Anubis had no top 8s in Modern, 2 top 8s in NAOL. That's what I was thinking. Thank you, Goof. I appreciate all the work you do.
Me too.
Andrew says also Zorro, right? Who is run a lot.
So the Zorro, again, the conditional effect of Zorro isn't to make additionals. The conditional effect, the if-then statement, is the KO ability. So Zorro says make 2 additional against the same opponent. If successful, it's not successful. The condition is if the opponent has 15 or more, then they're dead. And so the equivalent scenario would be, and I think it exists in Top Cow. If you played a 3 quick strokes against somebody, and during that 3 quick strokes they defended and in some way modified their KO conditions, like the way Magneto does, and the way this Top Cow character can modify his cumulative, which one would win? And the answer is 3 quick strokes wins. It was in play first, and you didn't negate it, so they were entitled to that if then before then. And that's in the, if you look at the battle mechanic, I forget what page and line item about the conditional effects and all that, and as well as the complex. And again, I hear everybody with any questions and all that, but for now, consistency.
And the Goose says, but if you play Pretty Boy, then why would Angels 4, which says it ignores specials in play, still work? It seems the same as the shift example.
No, well, so that's in the complex interaction section. Right. Anytime a card calls out another class of card, or we use like language triggers, like phrases, that overrides it, and that's written in the book. So your first check when you have one of these loops is, what are the 2 classes of cards? Are they different? And if the higher class, one's a higher class, and if the other one doesn't say particularly that it overrules the higher class would win. Then when they're not different classes, then the question is, do the cards call each other out? So if something says it cuts through a card that says remainder of battle, remainder of game, then of course it cuts through. But if they don't particularly speak to each other, but they both are trying to stop each other, which one wins? It's whichever one went first. And that's just what's on the books. We could eventually change that if we need to, but for the sake of, again, consistency and adjudicating fairly, that's currently. And if anyone finds a logic different that says I'm wrong, I'm always open to that. I love the debates, even when we get passionate. Had a good. We didn't yell, but we got animated, myself and Merlin, Sean Ballantyne, about it last night. So. I'm here. I'm here for the arguments. I'm willing to be wrong, but I'm just trying to explain, how we would rule for consistency's sake on these scenarios.
Did Sean send you a text message in all cap letters?
we were on the call last night celebrating the win. We were in the Discord, and he brought it up, and then emotions got high, and he was animated is what I was saying, quotation marks, and I was animated. And then my phone died in the middle of it. Maybe that was God also giving me an assist, saying, "Hey, you need to calm down, dude." So then I typed it out in the Discord. I could cut and paste it here later, but for now, that is the logic on the books.
All right, we got 2 more quick questions. If my Dracula negate is in play, does that mean I can negate a card that says it cannot be negated?
No. Again, it's if you call out a class of card and say particularly it doesn't work, then you cannot. Now, I guess, but no, let me work on this. I get where you're going with that. No, I really do. So what a Dracula card says, this is where you got to look at the text.
But which one's in play first?
Well, the Dracula card's in play, but it's not a static negate. You have to discard a trigger. So let me hold that. Let me put a pin in that one. No, that's really unique because you put it in play, but it doesn't put it in play and the next card's negated. You have to try to choose to negate by discarding. I have to look at the text.
Okay.
Let me get back to you.
Okay.
I was saying to Sean last night, the lawyer at my job, I work for the federal government. One of his quotes is, "I always reserve the right to be smarter today than I was yesterday." So, you have to be willing to know you're wrong sometimes. If I end up being wrong, or this ends up being not consistent, then we will fix it. But I need to look at those 2 cards because Dracula's is a bit different. You're having to do something to trigger it. Can you then choose to, and I have to look at the language and some things.
And Sean is, if Harness the Wind is in play and a card cards out, it can't be shifted. It's too late. It can be shifted.
Yes, it can be shifted if Harness comes in first.
But you can't shift against it defensively. If the card is already in play, you can shift anything that's thrown out there. And then Josh, hey Josh, how are you, buddy? So then why does an attack that says it can't be shifted can be if Harness is already in play, the attack calls out the shift directly?
So imagine it's the same as when you play Mintep. So you have Mintep is a static card you put in play, and then you can shift to it. For Legacy and for Modern, you can shift a JW to that, right? And it is a special card, but it's in play first, and it allows you to move that there later. And again, that's the logic we've gone with. Um, and that's what we want to be consistent with. I think the difference for the Dracula, I gotta look at that one. The Dracula one, do not hold me to anything. I haven't even seen Dracula be played in like the last 2 years. So let me think about that one because you have to trigger it, and I think about what the language is.
Okay.
The shifting, not shifting. Let me also say this: in the new game, we're using text triggers, and that's a lot clearer. And so some of this is going to be NAOL, and for NAOL rulings, don't look at me. Look
Right.
at
That's
whatever
Tyler.
NAOL wants to do. That's Tyler, or that's
Right.
the founders, that's the elders of the community. They will decide better than I will. For modern, we're trying to have it clear because you have text triggers for those where it says this is not going to be affected by cards with the text XYZ. And maybe for shifting, I don't know if we said a trigger for that. Who has a card who can't be shifted? Can someone give me the example of that one? In modern, have we not made that yet?
I don't think there's one in modern.
Yeah, I don't think we have that yet. So again, some of these interactions, I know the pitchforks might come for me. We're doing the best we can, both LRG and NAOL, to enjoy the old game, which brings us a lot of joy, and adjudicate that fairly. But some of those issues, sins of the father or whatnot. I love the old game, but they kind of wrote things and we bought it, and then you got to figure it out. For the new game, we're trying to do text triggers, and that's what it's going to be. And again, it's about whether it calls it out directly. And that might be the difference with the Dracula card. Again, I'm exhausted. Let me also note for the people in the podcast, I slept 2.5 hours Friday and 1 hour Saturday night. You can imagine why I couldn't sleep Saturday. I was so over the moon to actually finally win. It was a long celebration at the B&B and then an early departure. So let me get my brain cells healed and aligned. If something can't be negated, it probably can't be negated. I have to look at how it's written.
And that's why I posted in response to your in passing quote, we should not have in passing rulings. Let's
Of
say,
course,
hey,
I
we'll
agree.
get back to you on that and not
And
throw
I say
anything out.
so. In 9 out of 10 times, that is my approach. I think most of the time, my first thing is to everybody, I'm like, post the text of the card, not your recollection of it, because people will move
Right.
ifs and thens, or recollect it differently, and then I'll say something. I've once or twice said something based off of someone's recollection, and someone says, no, that's not the way it's written. And then I got to look at the two cards. So I think there's the conversations and things like this and things in the Discord, but then there's the actual rulings. And I probably should do better at just being more of a spectator, but I also like being a man of the people and playing with you guys and chatting with you guys. So for the Dracula one, if a card, what card says it can't be negated? It would be obviously Hera. The complex interaction says if you call out another class or effect, it doesn't. So maybe even the shift one I could be wrong on. Let me just reset, level set. We will look. I'm going to version 2.0 of the rule book is coming, and the complex interaction section. Yeah,
I haven't got my 1.0 yet, Dave.
That's crazy. By the way, I'm sad about the fact. Oh my goodness! Look what I just found. This is not even.
Is that version 1.0 of the rule book?
No, it's not. This is the
that's
foil.
pretty rare. It's almost as rare as that card.
Yes, no, the version it went out to some people. I know, like
it went out to a handful. Yeah, look at that foiling. That's amazing. Felipe, you did great, buddy.
I really don't even know. There's a card here, and it wasn't. So that wasn't a magic trick. But yeah, I'm really happy about that. But yeah, for some of these, what the Kefers do is they usually DM me their question, and I almost always say I'll get back to them, and it usually takes me 1 to 2 weeks, and then I've really thought it out, and I come up with a ruling that's usually pretty consistent and well thought out. And sometimes it means the thing they're going to pull off is going to get pulled off, and sometimes it means back to the drawing board. So I appreciate them for that kind of approach.
All right, let's get the chat cut up real quick.
Yeah.
Doug Taylor says, this is part of the problem, Dave. We can't expect TDs to go get a rule book in the middle of a tourney game. Yeah, I don't think the rules changed that much that a TD would have to do that. But, yeah, we definitely don't want to be pulling out the tournament guide all the time.
Yeah, I carry it with me as a head judge for the nationals and the regionals. and I'm the one who wrote most of it, although obviously it's based off of a revised version of what the old game was. So I agree. But I also think, in any sport league, if you're a Bill Belichick or a Bill Cowher or whoever your favorite coach is, and you want to pull a trick play off, it usually just behooves you to talk to the league and say, I want to pull off this trick play. Does it work? And you're not necessarily telling your opponent, but you get it, you run it up the flagpole, and then, you give the league time to do it, and they tell you what's what. And I think that's always going to be there, even with CCGs. And if you don't do that and you show up to an event and you try to pull it out and you pull it out as a surprise to both your opposing player and management, your results may vary, right? And even billion-dollar sports leagues get calls wrong when the most creative of coaches pull off a trick play and you say, wait, what did you just do? Where'd that guy line up? What kind of thing did you do? Someone get the rule book. Someone get a lawyer. So I do appreciate everybody wanting to know these things beforehand. And the best thing is if you're trying to pull off something new or different, just summon me with @Dave, @RulesMaster, @whoever. Text me, call me, send a smoke signal, and then I'll really, I'll really put my mind to it and get a good ruling on it.
Okay, Sean says let's ban shifting. LOL. I don't think that's going to. It may get more limited as we progress.
We do have some more cards like the old Dazzler cards that ignore shifts or ignore lockouts. There's more of those coming. And again, we're using more text and phrase triggers than the idea of something, so it's clear, right, what is excluded.
Andy says there was a tease of an unshiftable attack in Top Cow, but it was also using old wording.
Yeah. The Top Cow stuff is in playtest. I'm sure some people have seen some things, and but that's not with Cardamundi like finalized yet. So a lot of things, the final language, we run it through internally. We've got a lot of volunteers in the community who look at it. Obviously, the playtest community is great. You're great. Merlin's great. Sean, everybody's good at keeping us, I think, on the up and up.
Joey says the problem isn't in Legacy, it's in the Modern. I'm not sure exactly what he's referring there. Andy says, I know the Invincible card got fixed from Danger Seeker to a Quarok shift. Okay. He says, where can I find the Order of Operations guide?
That's it. If you go to, I'll copy a link to the rule book. Here is the rule book. So that's your rule book. And you want to go to the comprehensive section. I want to say I have it open. My guess is it's page 26. That's my recollection. Yep, page 25. No, it starts with page 24.
Yeah. Andy put that in the chat too. Good job, Andy.
Yeah. So look, I will say I see Doug saying the problem is, if that came up, I'm not sure right now. I'll just be honest. We're doing a fun interview. I'm trying to talk about winning my first championship.
Absolutely.
I don't have the rule book in front of me, and I wasn't coming with in mind towards like making any final ruling on a Dracula thing. So, it's not really an issue in that. I'm pretty sure actually. Obviously, any card that calls out that it can't be negated, can't be negated. Same thing with the shift, perhaps. You gotta let me get some sleep. Maybe I should have.
Well,
I'm gonna put a pin in all these things for a moment.
I mean, that's just like anything, though. If it's a question that hasn't come up in the community and it's there that day, your judge is going to have to make the call.
Oh yeah, of course. And I think
there isn't anything written that comes to mind. So
can I share a screen on this? I'm not even sure if I'm allowed to share a screen.
I don't know if it'll let you or not.
Let's see. I doubt it will, but I'm going to try. This will be fun.
Doug says it won't let you post a link here. Joey says, I thought Cardamundi was completely closed down. Not that I'm aware of. Why would Cardamundi?
And not that I'm aware of.
Is there a weather issue down there? I don't know.
Can you all see the screen at all, or is this not something you can see?
Yes, it's there. I don't know if they can read it. Can you read any of that?
I can zoom in. So you have the order of operations, but you had this idea that when two cards seem to conflict but do not call out one another's class or function directly. So that's kind of the key there. And so the biggest thing here is, again, if you have something that can't be negated, it can't be negated. Um, like there's no way to negate Zeus's Hera, even if you put in Dracula into play first. And if I intimated that in error, mea culpa, my apologies.
No, I don't think you
But
did. And they can see the screen there,
oh,
so
they can't. Oh,
yeah,
that's unfortunate. Well, it's on that page 24.
yeah.
I suggest we all, and myself as well, we can always bone up on that.
All
I
right,
think the
Dave.
most
Dave, I got two quick questions.
quick questions. Let's
Let's
go.
go back to some gameplay, and then I'll let you go. It's been an hour and a half.
Oh, wow.
Jessica is asking, where'd it go? What was your favorite match of the day and why? I mean, that's got to be the final game, right? Because you won.
Yeah, that's a great point. I no look. I think by default it has to be the final game against Lawrence. Lawrence is one of
Yeah.
my favorite new players in the community, and like he almost has an old soul when it comes to it. In terms of he's been back for a few years now, but it feels like he's been with us forever, and he's a great player. And I think his play style is actually the closest to mine. I think. And I think I play very weird in terms of like mining placement advantage and being very dogged or diligent about that. So Lawrence, I knew that would be a great matchup. We hugged afterwards. That has to be the favorite. But after that, if I had a favorite, it has to be my match against, I think, Derek, just because I bet four that first hand and lost and dug my way out. And Derek and I just have a real fun relationship.
Yeah.
He plays so fast and he knows what his deck is doing and he's strumming the buttons and he's so friendly and fun. And I think he's always interested. He watches over my shoulder at my games and I watch over his games because I think we both are so outside of what the common play styles are. So it's like a clash of the titans. And I believe he made the top 8 as well, right? Or
Yep.
am I? Yeah. So it's and obviously our matchup the same way. I think those matchups with the top 8 where you meet each other in Swiss, it's almost like sports teams. You have a matchup that's like this could be a Super Bowl preview. Those are always a lot of fun. So I liked our match. Anyone who's using Victory and Joan, I designed Joan or did the pitch for Joan, and Keith did the pitch for Victory.
Oh, nice.
And
Okay.
for anyone who doesn't know, and I'm putting stuff out there, Zeus was a Sean Sawyer pitch or design, and these all get ran through our process and tweaked. So no one ever has control, but someone is responsible for the first draft. And Dr. Watson was a Keith Bursack design, and it was when he first made it. The thought was, oh well, he'll never see play on the front. He stinks. And I think it's the opposite. I think he might be too good for 16. So sorry, that's some fun. But those are my 2 and 3 favorite matches, I'd say. That's not a good answer. Sorry.
Now, this weekend, I'm going to be seeing the ERB people in Chicago. And
Nice.
I cannot wait to tell them that Victory Harbor took 5th place at the event this last weekend. I'm
That's
sure
awesome.
that's going to make Chris very, very happy. I'm going to get him to sign a few more cards so I can give them away too. All right. When are you going to get to your first opportunity to defend your title? Not going to be Houston? It's going to be Columbus?
No, I think it will be Houston, but I don't think I'm going to defend with Zeus. And I always am too long-winded, but the long story short is I played my Deadpool Nightcrawler deck incessantly for 2 years, maybe 3, trying to climb the mountain. And I have it out here somewhere. Larry used to do the little game tags, and you'd have your printed picture of your hero, and on the back you'd write your matches.
Yeah.
And I can say 3 or 4 of my top 8 finishes were always ended by Phil. So it's win, win, loss, loss, win, loss, win. Quarter I win, semi, here's Phil, Dave loses. And so that was fun, but I found that like I made the game stale for myself playing the same thing too much. So I definitely am already working on how to tweak Zeus, and whatever version of that will be, I'll defend with Zeus at Columbus. But I intend to go to the shootout, and it's not going to be Zeus. I don't want to play 2 in a row, honestly, with the same deck.
All right. So, Chris Rice, if you're listening, there are at least 5 of us coming from Columbus. And now you know Dave's coming. So there's at least 6 players that you probably weren't expecting. We are all, let's see, Jessica, Nor, Corey, AJ, myself, and Yusuf, all plan to be there for Houston. And now we got Dave committed. Is Joe coming?
I assume that if he can, he will. Now, CEO duties,
Yeah,
negotiating no big money deals. I'm just the
right.
rules guy, so I got time.
Okay. So, well, guys, thanks for tuning in. Dave, thanks for joining me tonight. Sorry
Thanks for
about the
having
little
me.
issue getting started anytime. And congratulations one more time. It was a whole lot of fun. And
It's the best time I've had playing. But obviously, the community is amazing. Thank you guys for loving the game that we all love and being kind to each other, being patient with me, and to finally get the feather in my cap. I'll leave you with this. It does feel weird being the rules master and telling some of the best players how the game should work,
yeah,
and not having a championship. So at least have that feather under my cap that I can call myself a champion. Asterisk that we didn't have the king, the goat. Obviously, Miller's not there to beat me, and he beat me so many times. He beat me so bad. He beat me countless times. So I still have room to improve, and I got very lucky against Lawrence, very lucky against you, and very lucky against Noor. So
it was a great tournament, great competition. And Jessica wants me to remind everybody that she did not make it. So we all got an easy win.
I agree. Jessica, have we even played each other recently? I'm not sure we played in like years.
Well,
So,
Jessica's only been playing for about a year and a half. So you probably have not played her yet.
well, hopefully one of these days.
Yeah, soon. All right. Well, thanks again, Dave. It's been great. And everybody, thanks for tuning in. And we'll talk next Monday. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Dave.